Welcome. Welcome to this week's GenAI talk by Beyond the Obvious. It is a very special one because it is the last one in 2024. My name is Michael Alf, calling from Lisbon, one of the founding partners of BTO, together with my two partners. Over to Europe.
Yep, Rob Thurner, based in London, and also a partner, and looking forward to sharing our reflections today. Over to you, Markus.
Thank you, Rob and Michael. Markus Keiper, professor at the National University here in Singapore, and very much looking for our looking back at 2024 and an outlook to 2025. And maybe we start with the guy who spends day and night thinking about generative AI, Michael.
Is that me? Yes, that's probably true. Yes,
Yes.
It has become truer over the year. I would say it's an incredible development. So we still remember the time ChatGPT came out 2 years ago now, how quickly the first million people was reached and how it spread like a wildfire on the one hand side. And on the other hand, and that's the interesting one, we see still from workshops also this week, there are still people who haven't used it or who are using it but don't have the ideas how to really harness a better potential, not necessarily full potential, but a much better and higher potential. And at the same time, we've seen incredible developments in the foundational models from the big players, OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, and some others as well, Meta, with their open source model. And we share those news regularly. And the quality of these models, the output of the model is now so high, especially on text. It's just incredible what has happened over the last 12 months. And we see going into 2025 later on, it's like really now it's clear this will have impact on everything. So that's kind of a couple initial thoughts. Rob, over to you.
Yeah, so I think 2024, the question for a lot of the many hundreds, thousands of people I've been training is what, and understanding that they need to get their heads around putting the case, getting their skills together in terms of understanding how to deal with prompting and developing very rapidly some knowledge and confidence there, attracting some interest around ethics and bias and understanding the principles. So I sense that there's now a sense of yes, as we move into 2025, it's how do we do this? And we're seeing the formulation now of some better thought through plans, bringing these experiments together and at a group level, identifying change champions and developing a more end-to-end and consolidated approach. And we've been very working hard on our side to create this Maverick simulation product, a generic version. We're talking already with clients now about enhancements and building dedicated versions for different sectors and different areas of the business. And that will be our big focus next year. Markus, over to you.
Thank you so much, Michael and Rob. Yeah, from my point of view, the conversation from 2023 December, I should say, to December this year has changed dramatically, but not radically. In December last year, we had the majority of people still saying, Markus, don't you think this is a hype? Don't you think this will take much longer? It is basically something for tech enthusiasts and lovers. And this conversation now is at a point where I sense no one is questioning the impact of GenAI on life and work. But still, to your point, Rob, not many know exactly how it will look like in the next couple of years. So for me, it is a point moving from the power is moving from anxiety to curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
Next year, what I expect is much more measurable results, where GenAI actually is measurable, create impact. I spoke to someone yesterday from one of the big GenAI companies and brands in the world, and she said that the only impact she has seen so far is actually in marketing and call centers. But huge measurable impact on positive impact is actually still to be shown. And one area we might see it very soon is in particular the auto industry, car industry, where GenAI goes into the processes and also into the cars itself. So for me, next year will be the year of GenAI. Year 2 maybe, but it's a year of GenAI. Michael.
Absolutely, some really, really good points. And it's fascinating when you are in the, let's say, in the center of these developments, and we've been following that from the beginning. You think everyone should know. But I was running a workshop this week, and I always asked the question, well, how often do you use it? And there was, again, someone who hasn't used it at all. It in this case is only ChatGPT. Nobody in the room knew about Anthropic or the other solutions. So it's like, and for us, it's like, well, of course you know that. And of course you're using everything, every day. So you see this massive gap still there. And I like the kind of, the notion from you, Markus, around curiosity. That's definitely true. What we also see on the flip side, especially in Europe, is a lot of hesitation. So the question, okay, what does this AI Act mean? So we spoke about in one of the previous sessions, the regulation in Europe, which seems to restrict a lot of the usage. The big discussion, okay, it's US models, largely US models, most of them. Can we use them in Europe? Which actually from a lot of organizations still mean, well, be careful, don't do that, wait, which I think is a huge risk. So I think we need to really move the organizations to get on board, because you have to learn and take it up into the organization, this knowledge, this experience. This is not happening overnight, as you said, Rob, with the prompting. The same is, what does it mean for our processes? What does it mean for how do I actually approach such an LLM project or a GenAI project? So it's a different approach, because it's less deterministic, than a typical IT project. So there's a lot of questions coming up. I like really the notion of the curiosity, because I think that's shining through more and more. Say, well, there is definitely something, and we need to kind of move in this direction. Rob, any further?
I would add to that. I mean, the curiosity, of course, is good, and it's a very positive reason to do it. But it's also practically, if you're seeing that headcount is limited and you don't have the budget to bring new people on board or to second other people from other parts of the business, out of practical necessity, it's proven now to be a very effective way to be way more productive and get more stuff done. And of course, from a very personal point of view, if you can show that you've got a better handle on this, of course, you're setting yourself up for a more positive position as and when new roles and promotions and the like come up. So I think it's on a personal level. This is also a really essential skill to get, whatever others are doing around you. Markus, what's your reflection?
Yeah, and I really like how both are actually leading into curiosities happening on personal level and organizational level. And I think, Rob, I'm less concerned about individuals getting into GenAI. I think a lot of people who are not allowed to use GenAI inside the company for certain policies and procedures are using it outside of the company. So I'm not worried about them. I am a little bit concerned about the companies who are the classic laggards, who basically want to watch the rest of the world moving into something. And I will not call out any industries now, but I think you will know your industry if you're in it. Who will move faster are actually small and medium-sized organizations, because they need the productivity lever, they need the speed, and they do not have the capacities and the resources to hire 20 people, and in particular not consultants. So it will be very interesting how there will be a shift from, for example, customer centricity around GenAI in small and medium organizations, rather than from the big ones who struggle with large apparatus. Michael, what do you make of this one?
I really love the distinction between individual and company. Excuse me. And I concur. So on the individual, you see more and more driven, interestingly, and I saw that in the workshop as well, by your children, by the next generation. So one discussion was, well, do I forbid my child to use ChatGPT for the homework? Well, that's an interesting conversation. We're not going there, but it shows that, of course, it's
Why
there.
not?
It's in the families.
Yeah.
It's in the families. Yeah, so it's everywhere. It's kind of, and it goes up then to this kind of more senior elderly level, who have responsibilities in the organizations. So that's happening, and it's still, I think, a huge shift for organizations, because it means a lot of change, and even more than before. And there is, I completely agree, the opportunity for innovative, fast-moving companies to really make a difference in the marketplace by thinking AI first, putting that really from a CEO down, and getting better. And of course, kind of startups, scale-ups will come up who also embed that into their daily work. And I think there's a great opportunity, and if you want to embrace that, of whatever level you are, reach out to us, and we have the conversation and help you along this journey, end to end. So one more, then looking into 2025, what else kind of do you see developing when we look at a little bit like kind of the capabilities and what is offered? Can we already foresee what's coming, Rob? What do you think?
I mean, I think finding time each day and this becoming a habit rather than something that you feel like you have to do to fulfill a particular task will become much more widespread. And for those who haven't yet got on board, I think also explaining to those who don't really understand how valuable this can be, using videos and video case studies. And I found in the last month in particular, there are so many more explainer videos that don't go into the detail. They just explain the result that you can get by deploying the tech that creates a sense of penny drop aha that may be missing still for a lot of people. So I think that behavior, being able to easily understand how to articulate the examples without a long case study, but just something which is very, very well done and can be shared very quickly, that's certainly going to help to spread the word.
Yeah, and my big prediction for next year is around my favorite field, and that is marketing. And if you have been spending money on search engine optimization over the last 20 or 30 years and made Google richer and richer, you will find that 2024 and 2025 will create an earthquake in this whole business model, because GenAI is getting into the area of finding basically the solutions you usually search for, and they don't offer any search engine optimization and paid ads. So you will first of all find inside your organization that you have to relocate budgets because you don't reach the people anymore, and that will take some time. And at the same time, you will find companies and organizations like Google reinventing themselves around a new model, which will benefit all of us, hopefully. So with this, we would love to wish you a very good start to 2025. It will be another big year, and a much bigger year of AI than you've ever seen. Michael will, every week he will say big news in GenAI, as he said for the last many weeks, and he never stopped saying that. And we hopefully will have a lot of examples for you where you learn from, and we will have speakers next year as well joining us, and we will have new versions of our simulation. So a lot happening coming next year.
Have a wonderful time and see you next year.
Happy